From the Orioles on the Verge. This is Zach Spedden, joined as always by Bob Phelan and Nick Stevens. And tonight we are joined by a special guest as Orioles prospect Jaiden Lo Re joins us on the show to talk about his preparation for the 2026 season. The FCL, of course, is getting underway this weekend. Jaiden, by the way, it's a fifth round pick by the Orioles in the 2025 draft out of Corona del Sol High School in Tempe, Arizona. Jaiden, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. And I just have to ask, how's the prep going for this season?
It's going really good. Spring training was great. Kind of chaotic as a first spring training, but I think I held my own and I did well during spring training and minor league side and as well as the major league side. Um, as of now, we're just been in extended spring training, kind of just getting to work as a team. Haven't played many games, but it's been good. We've all been getting after it. Especially me. I've just been working hard and kind of working on my craft, just trying to do my best to prepare for my season coming up.
Honestly, I was personally surprised to see you in the big league spring training games, not because of anything that you did or didn't do, just because typically you don't see someone hadn't played professional ball yet, straight out of the draft out of high school. I think that speaks volumes about what the organization thinks of your abilities to handle something like that. So that was, in a positive way, a very, very good surprise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I want to go back to your draft experience real quick. Like Zach said, you taken in the fifth round there, clearly pretty high on the Orioles draft board. Did you have a lot of conversations with Orioles scouts or anyone in the organization ahead of time, and going into the draft, knowing that the Orioles were interested in you, or were you caught off guard and surprised when you got that call on draft day and it was the Orioles selected you?
No, I had some talks with them once in a while. Not much. I was out in Utah for summer league. And I got a text from our scout of my area, Rich Amaral, and he invited me out for draft work, and they actually did at Corona, which was pretty cool. So I went back home and had a workout there. There's a couple of guys there, but that was the really like my first time really talking to a lot of the Orioles guys. I had a really good talk with Chad Tatum. Kind of talking about the draft combine, how I didn't get invited, and kind of like a lot of people oversaw me during the draft and kind of just was overlooked. And we just talked about how I like to play the game hard, and everyone sees that, and just like how I'm more of a gamer, and I don't really stand out to the eye until I'm in a game. But after that good talk, like I knew like with the agency that I was with at the time, like we had discussed that the Orioles really love who I am. They love my bat to ball. They love the type of like player I am. So I kind of knew that I had a good shot of going to the Orioles, but I didn't know for sure. I had a lot of teams kind of like wavering up in the air about where I was going, but I knew that as soon as I got drafted by them, it was a good team and a good fit for me.
Listen, I
Yeah.
know.
Oh, go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the honestly, the Orioles, we get excited when they go to the high school ranks because the record there since Elias in this front office took over, very strong. You had Gunnar, uh, Creed Willems, Kobe Mayo, Carter Baumler, who's now in the majors. Even in the draft prior to yours, we had Nate George, who obviously came out really hot and got his name out there. And just this season, from that same high school draft class, DJ Layton and Braylon Whitaker are looking fantastic. Andrew Tess as well. So Creed Willems, like the list goes on. Like, and honestly, fifth round infielder, Daryl Hernandez, he's in the majors. So
Right.
they really do have a good track record when it comes to who they target out of the high school ranks, especially early in the draft. They don't do it very often, but when they do, it's because they truly, truly believe in someone as yourself. So if you could just give our listeners like what is your game in a nutshell? Like what do you bring to the table? What are you looking to do out on the field?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of consider myself as a hard-nosed player, like I'm a like a dirtbag. Like I want to get after it. I'm a hard going player, like I keep my head down, and I kind of want to do anything it takes to win. Like if I'm not doing well at hitting on one day, like what am I doing in the field? What am I doing on base running? Like if I get on base, how am I gonna help make my team win? Can I steal a base? Can I get a good dirt ball read? Can I make some good plays in the infield? Like whatever it takes for me to like be able to help my team win is what I would consider myself.
Nice. A lot's changed in college sports, especially lately, and especially with baseball and the draft, and players being able to more freely transfer, having that opportunity as a high school kid to go to college, the pros is more student athlete friendly, we'll say. You get drafted out of high school, you were committed to BYU, so you got those two options ahead of you. What was that decision like for you to choose between going to college, the pros and cons of that path versus signing with the Orioles?
Yeah, I mean, I knew like going into the draft, me and my parents, we had a number, and my agency, we had a number that I wanted, and I kind of wanted to stick to my gut on that. So I really love the BYU staff. They were great to me. The facilities there are great. They're in Big 12, so they're playing really good competition all the time. And when I was talking to the head coach while I was up there, like he still was telling me that we got a really good chance to start at second base for them my freshman year, and we could go from there. I was not LDS, so it was going to be a little bit of different of a culture change,
Yeah.
but they were great to me. I love the coaches. They treated me really well. I felt really loved. But in the end, my whole goal since I was a little kid was to play professional baseball, and being able to get the amount of money I wanted and to go live out my dream. I just wanted to take that chance right away.
Giving us a little bit of a taste of what your game is like. Who growing up did you try to emulate as a player?
Derek Jeter. He was always my favorite player growing up. He wasn't a big, powerful hitter. He had some home runs, but just the way he led, and his teammates relied on him and looked up to him as a guy who was just going to get the job done no matter what. And that's kind of what I want to do. I just want to be able to get the job done for my teammates and do whatever it takes for us to win.
It's, I know when we interview younger players, I'm always afraid to ask, being almost 40 years old now, I'm afraid to ask like, who'd you look up to growing up? I'm like, yeah, that guy was just drafted a couple years ago. But I mean, you got to go in some big league spring training games early, couple of games, couple of hits, stolen base. Uh, what was that experience like being, 19 years old and being able to watch some of the vets like Pete Alonso, some guys I'm sure you watched growing up, to be in that same dugout with them to see how they go about preparing for games, coming in to replace a guy like Jeremiah Jackson in those spring training games that you took part in. What were some of your biggest takeaways from that experience?
Yeah, I would say, just being in the cages with them, like watching their pregame routines. Like Pete Alonso had a really crazy routine that he would do, and it's just like that's just why he's so good. Like he focuses on the little things. I mean, I could go on and on about every player in that locker room and on that team. But I when I was there and I would be on the bench before I came in, had great talks with Jeremiah Jackson, Blaze Alexander. Um, I talked to Jackson Holiday when he was here, and we had a really long talk about like, hey, because I was honest with him. I was like, it's my first year. Like, what did you do in your first year? How were the nerves? Being the first overall pick, and you're a 19-year-old kid like coming in, and how are you able to handle pressure and failure and bounce back? And we just talked for a really long time, and he gave me some great advice, and we kind of related to his brother who started this last year in low A, and it was just really good. Like Jeremiah Jackson would always help me and give me some good, just positive self-talk and give me tips on how to go about the year. Blaze was great. I mean, I could name anyone. I mean, Craig was great. I would talk to Albie once in a while, and like in our last game of spring training, me and Albie sat down for a little bit and just talked about how he loved my game and loved how hard I play and loved to see what I could do on the field. And we talked about how am I going to be able to be a 19-year-old kid and go out there and have confidence all the time and just play hard and don't worry about what anyone else says and just be myself.
Yeah, and honestly, we've noticed, and they've talked to us about it, talked to other outlets about it, that they're not just looking at pure skills on the field when they're drafting or acquiring players. They want good clubhouse chemistry, good guys out there in the clubhouse on the field. So that said, you're obviously getting ready for the FCL season. I think it starts end of this week, early next week.
Yeah.
What's it been like getting together? Not saying name names of who's going to be on the team. That's not public yet. But like, what's it been like with the guys? Is there a good camaraderie down there at the complex right now, getting ready to go into the season?
Yeah, it's been great. Definitely different for me. I had to learn a lot of Spanish. Got a lot of guys from the DR coming over here, but it's been good. Like I've been trying my best to learn as much Spanish as I can and talk to these guys. And a lot of these guys want to work hard, and that's what I want to do, and they want to win. So we're having fun here, but we're also getting after it at the same time. And everyone's looking really good, and we're starting strong. We had a scrimmage today. We got another one tomorrow, and the season starts Saturday. So it's we're definitely ready to get after it.
I guess the national language is just baseball, right?
Yeah, right.
Have you had that moment yet? I know you haven't played in an official game yet, but have you had that moment since the draft where it's kind of hit you like, maybe hit you right then, or maybe when you go back to the apartment or where you're staying at, you're like, wow, like this is it. I'm in pro ball. Have you had kind of like that wow moment yet?
Yeah, I think it was more of this year, not last year, because last year was just more of draft camp. But definitely this year, like going to like the big league spring training, I think was really what was like, wow, like I'm professional, like I'm playing against guys that I watched on TV when I was 5, 6, 7 years old, and just growing up that I was playing against, and it's like, wow, like I'm now playing against them. I'm in the same dugout as them. Like watching Trey Turner when we played the Phillies, like I watched that guy for years and years. So I think that, and it's kind of like you soak it in. You're like, wow, like how grateful am I to be able to, share the field with these guys that I've watched forever, and now that I consider like now I'm a professional baseball player. So super cool.
What would you say are your goals going into this season?
My goals, um, to win. I want to say that like if I'm winning, then that means I'm doing my job and our team's doing our job. But I want to selfishly, I want to make the top 30 prospect list. Get my name out there a little bit more. Um, you know, get as high as I can in affiliates. Who knows where that'll be? But as long as I just stay where my feet are and I just play my game, like the rest of it will take care of itself. But definitely want to at least be at low A by the end of the year. But besides that, make top 30 prospect list, win wherever I am, hit around 300, 290, keep that bat to ball, and just play my game.
Yeah, we're about to actually tonight after this interview, after we do a live podcast, we're going to update our top 50 list that we do once a month during the season. And we don't have you ranked because we never seen you play, obviously, right? So we got our eyes. We can't watch FCL games. That's unfortunate. But we once you get to Delmarva, which I do believe is the thing that's going to happen, we'll have our eyes on you, and we're going to be paying a lot of attention. And yeah, I think just the way that they used you in big league spring training was enough to be like, whoa, okay, pay attention to this guy, and I think you could do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. When you get down there tomorrow at practice, if you want to get in somebody's ear and let them know that you got a lot of people that are dying to watch those games down there, so if they could hook up a stream, that'd be great. But you also got to play in the spring breakout game, and I think next year they're actually going to turn that into like a single
Tournament?
elimination tournament instead of just the
Yeah.
one game showcase style. Is that something you think will kind of fuel that competitiveness down there, or is when you were down there playing that game, was it more of just this is another day of work, except maybe there's a few more people in the stands watching tonight?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some excitement going on. Like most of the guys there have been in a game like that, but it was just another work day. We're just there to get after it and play another game. It's just like you said, there's just more fans there. Um, but it was super cool. It's some of our best prospects and guys that the Orioles really like are there, and the Red Sox had their top prospects, and it was just fun. We're there to just compete, and it's just another game. But it was super cool to be there and be in that situation and be able to get into that game.
One thing the Orioles like to do with their guys, especially early on in their professional careers, is move around. Like if you're an infielder, you're going to play all over the infield. If you're
Yeah.
outfield, you're going to play all over that. And even if you're infielder, you might play some outfield. How are you preparing for that? Is that something you're used to, or is it like, let's go, all challenges?
Yeah, I in high school and during club ball, I was always working on. I always thought it was important to play every position. I mean, I was a catcher, and I had some clubs during the draft ask if I was going to catch, but like I've been playing short, second, third, and I've also been playing outfield. So, whatever that utility is that can put you on the field and just get you in the game is what's important. Because even when you get to the big leagues, and utility is so important. It can keep you there longer than if you're just a one position player.
Yeah, and I think the thinking is if you're ready at a multiple positions as you move up the ladder, if a need arises at the big league club, hey, this guy can play third base, like we saw with Kobe
Right, for
Mayo this
sure.
spring training. So
Absolutely.
I just have one more question for you. You know, getting ready for the FCL season here, who of your teammates on the hitting side are really standing out? Who are the guys where when they're taking BP, you're paying extra close attention because you're like, wow, that's an impressive AB. For some of the listeners who, like you said, there's a lot of guys coming over from the DR this year, a lot of other guys like Cam Lee. We haven't been able to see Cam Lee play professionally yet. Who's standing out down there in Sarasota?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone is honestly kind of catching my eye. I haven't seen these guys ever. But we do have some highly ranked prospects like Wilfred De La Cruz is down here. He's doing his thing. It's fun to watch him. Jerome Newell, he's been
Mhm.
doing really well. I know you guys have him ranked on there too, and he's a fun guy to watch. Really good on the base paths. Say another one is Jose Perez. He was kind of up in Double A. I saw last year, but he's got a really smooth swing. Had a couple home runs here and during our live at bat sessions. So he's been really good. But honestly, everyone has just been hitting really well. And that's what I like to see. And, I know our manager definitely loves that we're having good competitive ABs. Everyone's looking strong, hitting the ball hard. Another one's Elvin Garcia. Garcia's starting to make a name for himself and hit the ball hard, which I saw him hit a ball like 110 the other day. And it's special.
That's
That's
great to
awesome.
hear. Love that
Yeah,
one.
I know. Too bad he was hurt most of last year, so it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see him. But shoe on the other foot. Let's say you're in the batter's box, bottom of the ninth. Who bases are loaded? You know the scenario. 3-2 count. Who or doesn't have to be 3-2 count, but which pitcher in the FCL in the extended spring are you like, man, I do not want to go up against him right now in this situation?
On our team,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
oh man, let me think. We've gotten so many guys come in and out. I'm trying to think. Um, right now, I'd say one of our better pitchers right now is definitely Isaiah Salinas. He's actually been
Hmm.
looking really well. His fastball is really hoppy. He's got it up to I think like 22 or so. At like 94,
Okay.
he hit 94, but I'd say like probably another one is JD Hennon. JD Hennon's starting to catch my eye. I think he was an undrafted free agent last year, but he's up to 97, I believe, so far
Oh,
in the spring. So I had a live at bat against him. It went well, but his fastball is super hoppy and he's got good stuff. So I'd say JD or Isaiah.
that's great. Yeah, I mean, hey, undrafted doesn't mean much. Trey Gibson's in
No,
AAA banging on the door, so
exactly. Exactly.
Well, Jaden, thank you so much for joining us and best of luck this season.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
thanks a
Thank you,
lot, man.
man. Good luck.
So thank you.